How do I make my vocals sound fuller in the mix? That is the question blowing up my DMs. First of all, whether you're a seasoned producer but vocals haven't really been your thing, or if you're new to vocal recording, high five by the way, so proud of you for getting a home recording setup. I'm gonna give you 5 things to focus on to make your mixes fuller, give them more dimension and balance, because we don't want our vocals sounding too thin or muddy with layers that are fighting for space. These are the often overlooked, very essential ways to manipulate the stereo field so our vocals feel alive and rich. This is more important than ever to nail because these days, everyone is recording from home, but not everyone's tracks are sounding professional. Good on you for being here, for doing your homework so you can get the pro sound too. When we work with the stereo field, we're working with the listener's perception of space. How close and up front something sounds or how far away it is. Is it more left or right? Is it singular or does it have width? How tall is it? Knowing how to adjust our perception of each of these things will lead you to an intentionally full mix. And one of the biggest keys is to make each vocal layer feel like it's not occupying the same space as another. The 5 main ingredients to manipulating this space are levels, panning, pitch and equalization, stereo widening, and special effects like reverb, delay, and modulation to create even more space. By the way, if we haven't met yet, I'm Kimera, vocalist, producer, songwriter, Pro Tools expert. You can learn more about me in the description below. Okay, number 1 is levels, our perception of things being closer or further away. This is one of the simplest ways to manipulate the stereo field, and as simple as it seems, a lot of people get this wrong. They think about it like to make their mix fuller, they need to keep turning things up, but we need to trust people's ears. They can hear something even if it's quiet. So sometimes it's better to turn our background vocals down. I know sometimes I'm so proud of the harmonies that I arranged and I want everyone to be able to hear them, so I turn them up a little too loud, but then they distract from the lead vocal. A great rule of thumb here is to turn everything down so you can't really hear it, and then slowly turn things up until you can hear it. You'll do that for each stereo pair and then tweak a little bit as you go. This plays with the space by putting your lead vocalist front and center and the supporting vocals towards the back of the room. Second on our list is panning. And I know this stuff is really basic so far, but bear with me because it's important and we'll get to the fun stuff in just a moment. So if you've got layers of vocals like this, and you haven't panned anything, it is gonna sound bad. It's like all your singers are standing on top of each other. We want them standing next to each other in their own spot. However, we always want the lead vocal to stay centered. So as you can see, these are my lead vocals and they are all panned 0. And everything that is a background vocal, I always record twice in a stereo pair. So like these are the same harmony, these are the same harmony. I just recorded them twice and then I panned them left and right. And I move each stereo pair in by an increment of like 10, as you can see. But I will say this, and this is just my personal taste, I don't really like the way it starts to sound if they get closer than 50-50. So once I get to 50-50, I kind of just go right back up to 100, 100, 90, 90 again, because the vocals that I probably place on these later tracks are not going to be as close in pitch to the ones that are over here, so they won't really be competing for space anyway. Which brings me to my next point about pitch, which is number 3, our perception of height can actually be manipulated by choosing different notes from low to high or emphasizing certain frequencies with EQ from low to high. The lower notes might feel like they were located lower in the field, and the high frequencies might feel like they're taller or like floating above the track a little bit. Though this is a phantom effect, it does give us that experience of vertical fullness. Low frequencies and high frequencies aren't really competing for the same space, so layering our vocals in octaves and harmonies will definitely give us a fuller sound. To take this a step further, a cousin of frequency is called formant, which has to do with the shape of the mouth, like the anatomy of the mouth and throat, which gives us a different tone color. Any given voice might have a deeper formant with fuller harmonics in the lower frequency spectrum, or a thinner, higher, more tinny kind of a voice would be considered having a higher formant. So if you play 2 different voices singing at the same time, at the same pitches, they aren't entirely occupying the same space because they have different frequencies that their voices are hitting. So we can hear them pretty well even if they are on top of each other. But if you don't have a second vocalist and you want to play with a super full sound on your chorus, you might enjoy using a formant shifting plugin such as this one, Little Altar Boy by Sound Toys, You've got Waves, Vocal Bender, Devious Machines, Pitch Monster. That will make it seem like you have more singers, even though it might just be you. Another sneaky trick you could do is use a voice changer plugin or app. I know BandLab has a free one. You can basically use an AI to change your voice to someone else's voice entirely and create a whole choir. Another thing you could try is use what's called a mid-side EQ, which allows you to separately adjust the center, mid, and sides of your mix. For example, here I'm just boosting the highs of the sides of my background vocal chain and dipping the mid. This is going to add more sparkle around the sides while carving out some space in the middle for the lead vocal to shine. It's a great way to clean up a mix and make everything feel balanced without losing the richness of your layers. Step 3.5 is clicking that subscribe button and following along with all my tutorials. Thank you. Just kidding. Actually, I'm not. You should subscribe. Number 4, stereo width. Stereo wideners like the S1 Imager, or if you have any paid version of Pro Tools, you can get Air stereo width for free. I believe iZotope has a free stereo widener as well. But stereo wideners are plugins that make your tracks feel even further out in the stereo field, more than just panning can. They make a signal feel wider and place them in a slightly different place in the field. I'd only use these on my background vocals since they are actually in stereo pairs, or even on my master. But if you put them on a mono lead vocal, they will sound kind of weird. But actually that could be a cool effect if you wanted to go for like something unique sounding on your lead vocal. Number 5, we gotta talk about our reverbs, delays, chorus, other modulation stuff. This is absolutely going to add dimension and movement to our mix. These are just my standard effects chains down here. I have 1 reverb, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different delay lengths. So I think I've got a quarter note, an eighth note, a half note, and a whole note. And the funny thing is, you won't even really hear those in the mix because I mix them so low. It's more so just for the feeling of creating more of that space. So reverbs and delays alter our perception of basically like how big the room feels, like where are the walls that our sound is bouncing off of. Longer decay times will make the room feel bigger. Just think of it like you're moving that wall farther away. The shorter that decay is, the closer the wall feels. But don't overdo it with too much reverb, or you might invite new problems with too many frequencies starting to fight for space, making your song feel kind of dense and kind of ugly. Modulation effects like chorus and very subtle flangers on the background vocal only, please, will help with the illusion of movement and more width. Think about it like now your background vocalists are dancing and moving their heads around a little bit more. It'll give the mix more life and texture. Okay, but wait, I couldn't talk about the stereo field without mentioning Dolby Atmos. If you have a chance to learn this or to get your song mastered in Dolby, I highly recommend this. Atmos is immersive audio and it gives you the ability to place sounds all around you in a dome. The simplest way to put it is like, think of it like panning, but instead of just left to right on a single plane, you can move things within the dome all around, in front, behind, above, below. It's pretty awesome. Ideally, you would want to have a Dolby Atmos mixing studio with tons of speakers, but there are immersive headphones and room emulators that could get you a good amount of the way there. These keys that I just shared with you will help level up your mixes in terms of manipulating the space that we experience in stereo, but there is so much more you can do to build up your vocal mixing and vocal production skills, like setting up the correct routing, setting up a vocal chain, using certain plugins to improve your tone and dynamics. So in this playlist, you will find videos to help you with that. Feel free to browse or watch them all, and I'll see you in the next video.